round of applause for Jesus. We're live, right? Amen. Let's give us some time. I'm giving some time for you. You the host. Love you.
Amen. Lord Jesus. Papa, we missed you. How many of you missed you? You really wasn't gone. The garden was given.
Yes. Amen.
So we heard you. We received from you.
Hey.
So I'm just grateful.
Good.
And I look forward. And without further ado, I just want to receive. I want to receive. This is our spiritual father, Apostle Dr. Israel Peña. And we welcome him and we welcome him to the
Praise God. I want you to take your cap that's invisible. I want you to take it and you're going to put on your student hat today.
Amen.
Can you do that with me? Look a little ridiculous. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, when we were little kids, we were doing it. Romper room, we did that. Fake mirror. Talking about I see you. You know what I'm talking about, right? Some of y'all do. Some of y'all don't. That's okay. You know, all the names being mentioned, and I'm waiting for my name to be mentioned. It was always a basic name, you know. Thomas, Harry, Mary, John. I'm like, say Israel. I know you can see me. Say Israel. And every time that show came on and that woman had that, you know, that fake mirror, and started saying, I see Larry, I see Joni, I see Susan. And I just sat there and said, she's got to see me. I'm saying something spiritual. I want you to wear that hat today because I want you to know that we're going to start teaching Word Profound on Thursdays. Those of you who are students will be here. I don't mind. If you feel that this is a place where you can grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, then I'm going to invite you on Thursdays to put on scuba diving gear. Because we're not going to just get familiar with the canyons we can see. We need to get familiar with the canyons we can't see.
Okay. That's good.
We get so comfortable in calling mountains, the ones that are above water. But how many know that there are mountains underwater? And it's the mountains that are underwater that I want us to learn how to travel. Because we talk about hiking on a mountain. How about we learn how to hike in the depths? Profoundness. Let's find out what's supporting that which supports you.
Okay.
Let's find out what part of land that you're on is being supported by something you can't see. Just because you don't see it and walk on it every day doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So we're going to go on a journey, and I'm still on the book of Kings, you know, Kings and Chronicles. But I'm going to take a little turn, and I'm going to focus now on the prophets during that time period. It's going to be a little commercial break. We're going to learn about Ahijah, Elijah, Elisha. We're going to talk about all the major prophets and the minor prophets. We're going to start talking about those that we consider powerful prophets or prophets of words. Prophets who are identified for their eschatological influence, and prophets that are based on their power influence. In other words, there are different kinds of prophets.
Right.
When somebody comes to you and says they are prophetic, or they give you a prophetic word, it's going to be important for you to know in your file of prophets, where do they fall in?
Amen. That's good.
Good prophets are mindful of their words. Please be seated.
That's good.
Are mindful of their words. It is quite possible that I teach you something now, and if I'm not mindful of the words that I speak, I can then tell you something different at the end of my oration.
Right.
A good orator will always remember what's being said. Because if not, they make the mistake of contradicting themselves.
Oh, that's good, Pastor.
So in the prophetic, oration is very important. The consistency of what you're giving has to sound the way you begin. You can't say something that's contrary. That's why I love the Bible. The Bible does not contradict itself. And I dare challenge anyone on that one. Oh, I got something. It says this. Yeah, why does it say that? When was it said? Who was it spoken to?
That's it.
All of this is part of the process. Why do you speak the way you speak? Even your style of dress is influenced by your time.
Oh, that's good.
Your moments in history cause you to act a certain way. The way you process is based on your time in history. How you act is based on how you were raised, and how you were raised is based on the stimulus of the neighborhood you come from.
Right.
All of that is a part of your processing. So to be a prophet, you cannot speak based on those influences, even though they may enter a little bit. Your voice better come from God.
Amen. That's good.
Who is not influenced by neighborhood.
Right. Okay.
Oh, God is tribal. Yes, he is. God is tribal. Why? Because he believes in tribes. He is tribal. He believes that if you follow him and you do his will, then he can break you off into different groups to complete his will. That's why we're called the body of Christ.
Amen.
All the pinkies in the house, raise your hand. All right, man. See, you got some pinkies. All the toes in the house, raise your hands. All the noses in the house, raise your hands. Amen. We got one back there who's a nose. Make sure you let me know when a bad smell comes in, because I won't know. You will. Oh, you didn't get that. See, because if you're a nose, and I know you're a nose, then I'm not busybodying trying to find out what that smells like. Because I'm a toe. I'm supporting the body. I'm keeping balance.
Yes. Yes.
So what business do I have going to the door trying to smell what's going on?
That's good.
Who's getting this?
Amen.
I would try to break it down parabolically. I'm going to try to break it down so that we can comprehend this, because, see, the biggest problem is that when we learn about prophets, we put them all on the same page. So we think of John the Baptist is the same as, not Elijah, because Elijah has John the Baptist. I'm talking about somebody like Jeremiah or Ezekiel. These are different prophets. Just because they have the title prophet doesn't mean they're the same prophet.
Right.
Just because you're part of the tribe of Israel or the people of Israel doesn't mean you're the same tribe. Just because you're in the Bronx doesn't mean you're the same Deliverance Church.
That's good. Come on. That's good.
We are different in the body of Christ. And each one of us has a strategy given to us that nobody else can do better than us, because we were the ones chosen for it. When you're selected, you're identified as a body part. God starts to perfect you in your body part. So if you're an eye, you get eye exercises. And then you get mad when somebody else doesn't see what you see. It's okay. You're an eye. Don't get mad at the nose. Why didn't you see that? Well, why did you smell that? But when you know each other as a prophet or moving prophetically, notice I said there's two differences. You can be a prophet, moving as in the office of a prophet, or you can give a prophetic word. Speak prophetically. In your speaking prophetically, you can speak the same thing that the prophet spoke. but you can't activate it the way they can.
Right. Good. That's it. That's it.
The office of the prophet doesn't need electricity or being plugged in. Anywhere that prophet goes, no need for stimulus. But the one thing that is a common denominator for all prophets is that every prophet must be under submission.
Amen.
Ooh, the bad word. Some of us can't stand that word. Because the government in which we reside in has taken liberty on another level. Where what you do behind closed doors is okay. But when you are held accountable to someone, when you have to give your story instead of saying no story, things change. So where's my stuff? Back up here? Don't force me to go up there. Do we have a stand-up that we can put up here or no? Please do. I kind of want to be here today. And let that be for the rest of the year. I want to be down here in my teaching mode. Preaching mode is a whole different ballgame, and there's a difference between teaching and preaching. Sometimes I will get into preaching while I'm teaching, and sometimes I'll get into teaching while I'm preaching. But know that there is a stark difference between one and the other. So the prophets in the north that I want to talk about. Notice why I like having my hands free. Yeah. Praise God. The prophets in the north that I want to talk about are the following. And each one of them has their own story. And I know this is going to take a little while. So for the next month, I think for the month of August, we're going to dedicate to the prophetic. To the prophets of the Bible. Amen. We're going to understand how to distinguish one kind of prophet from another. We're going to learn how to separate the prophetic, because they're different streams. It's like me calling a lake a stream or a river just because there's water. And not all lakes are the same. Some lakes have beaches, some don't. And all of that is going to be part of what we're going to talk. Thank you so much. That's prophetic too, by the way. Praise God. So Ahijah is the first we're going to talk about, because outside of Nathan, who prophesied to David, which maybe I should get into him some other time, but David was a great king, but even a great king needs a great advisor. Doesn't matter how great you think you are, you better have somebody great as you to keep you in check. Amen. Yes. Amen. Authority under authority. Hey, love that. You have to be under authority if you want to be able to authorize things. So, when we talk about the prophets in the north, and again I mentioned, write them down anyway, Nathan. I'm going to get back to him because I really feel that his story is important. And the strategy he used. You know, I could even go as far back as Samuel if I really want to deal with all of the prophets of the kings, of the reign, of the monarchy, starting from Saul. But Nathan was one of those prophets that used a strategy. And the strategy is simply this. Sometimes you don't have to tell somebody straight up that they're wrong. Right. A lot of us, unfortunately, have a more reactive approach when it comes to wanting to fix things. And we have this little voice in our head that keeps telling us, you better do it or they're going to look at you awkwardly. Who knows what I'm talking about? And if you don't raise your hand, I'm going to say, Lord, put that voice right now so you can hear it. And see, that voice in your head tells you they're going to look at you wrong. They're going to think you're a wimp. They're going to try to abuse you later on. And that's that little voice that goes into your head that makes you want to react, even though you know what's right.
Good. That's good.
So Nathan was a prophet that dealt with presenting the scenario and then asking the person, what do you think?
Oh, that's good.
It very much
That was
is.
good. That was good.
He says, let me tell you a little story. And he tells the king of the story that the king was so repulsive of. David said, oh, that story there, that whoever did that needs to be taken out.
Wow.
See, I like prophets like that because they use the person's decision for their decision. So David said, whoever does that needs to die. Needs to be taken out. And what would it be if, when a prophet tells you, my dear king, that person who we're talking about is you.
Wow.
You are the person whose decision you should follow right now.
Good.
So if we're going to base it on you being the king and your verdict being precise and exact, then my dear king, let us use what you said to be done to be done.
Ouch.
How many have used that strategy here? Anybody? Amen. Well, praise God for you. Praise God, because if you used it, then that means it can be used against you too.
Right.
That's what happens when you present something in the courtroom of heaven. And you say, Lord, let this happen to that person. When you say that, be prepared to be on the list that that person was on as well. We have a tendency to forget about who we are. And we're quick. I've seen it. And I thank God that God allows me to always reflect. I'm not perfect at it, by no means. But I reflect before I react. And if I react before I reflect, I'll reflect after I react. Moments. Those who know me know what I'm talking about. I'll flip and I'll catch myself. I'll go, oh Lord Jesus, what did I just say?
Right.
And in this room, I think everybody has, I can, except for, a lot of the children, but everyone here has fallen into that category one moment or another. If you're able to look at the things that are going on in the United States right now and get mad at all the people that are doing it, and then think of your own little government in your house, would you take the approach of Nathan to David? So that's another thing. Ahijah is who we're going to talk about. Elijah is going to be next. Elisha after that. Jonah after that. Amos and Hosea. Those are going to be the 6 that we're going to target within the next 4 weeks for the month of August. The 2 that are probably going to be the most the ones that are going to stand out the most are going to be Elijah and Elisha. Only because we are moved by miracles, not what makes the miracle. No one gets saved by miracles.
That's right. That's right.
In the beginning, when you first start a church, you want people to know that there's power in the church. So you want to lay hands on people and you want to, they're getting healed. And then we think that that is the way people will be attracted to the church. Or even better than that, this is the way people will remain in the church if they see power. What power are we really looking at? What power can we see? There's an individual that I mentioned here who changed the kingdom and didn't demonstrate much power like Elijah or Elisha. His name is Ahijah. So let's get into that. By the way, just really fast, for those of you who really want to take down notes, each one of these prophets had a time period which they were connected to or parallel with a certain king. And Ahijah was during the time of Jeroboam. Jeroboam was a servant of Solomon. Jeroboam and Rehoboam are the beginning of the division of the people of Israel. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Ahijah was brought about during the years of 934 to 909 BC. Then comes Elijah. And we're still talking about the northern kingdom. Elijah was during the time of Ahab. Ahab was a dark moment. The darker the moment, the more powerful the prophets. The darker the moment, let me repeat that again. The darker the moment, the more powerful the prophets. The prophetic will be based on how much the prophetic is needed. What does that do? That eliminates you being the one who's the all in all. God will call you to move prophetically, but the prophetic in your life, the power you've been given, is not based on you being able to say, here I am, power. But rather what you're called for.
Right.
So when you go to a place, let's say you are one of those prophets that do little things in your local church. Like just telling somebody, you know, God, Jesus loves you. Consider it a little thing. Right? Then you end up going to South America. You go to this little town that doesn't move in that power, or that has never seen it, right? All of a sudden now you're moving in power. That power you carried was the same power you had in your local church. The problem there was that the darker the place, the more your light shines. So you give off light, the same light, but it's in a darker place, so it's more appreciated.
That's good.
Wow.
But it's dangerous for some who don't understand this truth, because they'll go to another country and move the crowd, and then come back trying to do the same thing and feel disappointed and try to tell the pastor, listen, you know what I did when I went to XYZ place? Look at the power I have. And if both the pastor and that person is immature, the pastor will get offended instead of trying to fix him up and tell him to get out the church. You trying to divide my church? Get out. Instead of trying to make him the basketball player he is. Oh, that's good. That means I can coach you. You're not hearing me. Anyway. See, the more you understand the prophetic, the more unintimidated you are when someone comes in with a gifting. You hear the good news and it becomes good news for you because you understand the gifting. When you don't understand the gifting, that person is a threat.
That's good.
Oh, God, here we go.
That's good. My God, my God.
Did you hear? And then it's the fake. Yeah, wow, amen. Glory to God. I'm gonna watch this guy. Somebody come and tap you. Did you hear about? Yeah, I heard about it. Wow, amen. Glory to God. Man, that's a problem. In your private time, in your bathroom time, you're worried about people that you don't need to worry about. Where instead of saying that, you should say, thank you, Lord, for bringing somebody to make the team good, not me good. So here we go. Elijah with a J was during the time of Ahab. Dark time, powerful prophet. Dark time, powerful prophet. Then after that, it was passed on to Elisha. Elisha. Still a bad time. Still a powerful prophet. Because it's still a bad time. Bad time brings powerful prophets. Then there's Jonah. Jonah ends up popping on the scene during the time of Jeroboam II. Jeroboam II was a lot like Jeroboam I. Amos came around the time of Zechariah. the king Zechariah. And Hosea came around the time of Menahem. And so each one of these prophets expressed their authority and their power based on what was needed by the people. But a miracle does not save anyone.
That's good.
Come on. Amen. Come on,
Come
God.
on, go there, Pop.
We get too caught up with wanting to see miracles, signs, and wonders that we forget if you skip a service after seeing a miracle, sign, and wonder the week before. I know some of you say, no, all I need is to see somebody raised from the dead. I promise I'll never leave church again. The fact that you said that lets me know you're going to bounce.
My God. That's good.
Because your being enamored with God is based on a miracle, not based on a relationship.
That's good.
Oh, I promise, if he makes me levitate right now, someone's come to the front from out. Lord, I promise if you do this right now, it's a wrap. I'll never leave again. It's sad, but this is what we live in. And how do we know this to be the case? You talk about millions of people who left Egypt. Listen, there wasn't a miracle you didn't see.
Right.
Every single miracle you can imagine, the most miracles that ever took place in the Bible, you'll find in the book of Exodus.
Yes.
That is a fact. And if you can prove that wrong, please, I'll sit down with you and go over it. Exodus is the most miracles, consecutive back-to-back miracles.
Right.
Outside of creation, that's the one.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good.
Only thing that can compare even close is creation. You know, but we even that we don't know the details. But the 10 plagues, the water parting in two, that's for you to remain a Christian forever. Drop the mic and just follow. And you're watching things. And you're walking on dry land. And when you get to the other side, you desire to construct another God.
Amen.
Come on.
And then we say, we go, oh, see, that's them. I would never do that. Yes, you do. It's just that it's a different type of God.
Right.
Don't make me go into that one. I'll name them.
Please do.
I'll name them. Facebook is one of them. You got that right. Work is another. Smoking weed is another. Drinking alcohol is another. I will speak it because your freedom lies in understanding where the traps are. I will not be a church to chop heads. But you may think I'm chopping your head when I'm trying to put butter on you. I'm here coming with a knife and it's to put butter on you. And you're like, no!
That's good.
Soften you up a little. Because it's a knife. Because somebody else will tell the story and they'll tell it the wrong way. They'll say, and it's the truth. He's coming after people with a knife. And stop right there. Is it true that I'm coming with a knife? It's a butter knife with butter.
Wow.
Praise God. So let's talk about Ahijah. The name Ahijah means a brother in the Lord. Ahijah means a brother in the Lord. He was a prophet who belonged to Shiloh. And he foretold to Jeroboam the revolt of the 10 tribes. This Ahijah was a champion of the rights of the people in the face of the oppression of Solomon and Rehoboam. And he led the revolt that rented the kingdom of David asunder. What does that mean? Man, stop talking this down thing. Listen, here's what this means. That a prophet who didn't do half the miracles that Elijah did, or Moses, was able to give a message to a person who was once a servant. Told him, see this right here? All of this belongs to you. Power of a prophet. A prophet can change if they get into your soul. If their information enters in, they can change the course of your life.
That's good. That's good.
The course of a people was shifted by an encounter with a prophet. The prophet Ahijah simply went, and we're going to read the story, simply went and spoke to this one individual who wasn't even of king blood or royal blood. Told him, 10 of those 12 tribes belong to you. You're about to be the ruler of 10 tribes. You who've been the servants of Solomon for so many years. Now you're going to rule. And that's a good feeling for somebody who doesn't understand the spiritual aspects of things. You get offered $1 million right now. You know, you get offered $1 million right now, and they tell you, you know what, I'm going to give you $1 million, just don't ever step foot in another church. As crazy as that is, because some of you right now, I would never. The truth is, after everybody leaves, there'll be a race to meet with that person around the corner. Can you run that by me again? You mean I can't like step in one? And then you get real religious and say, okay, I won't step in one, but I'll make sure I'm outside in the church. That's outside. Because the church, the body of Christ, is not really a place. Come on. This is what we're dealing with. Professional.
Talk to him.
Go there. Come on,
What happened?
No. Let's continue. I can't. So here we're going to, let's read. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 26. It's my first day back. I got to keep it easy, try not to overwhelm a little, keep things kosher. When you have it, please say amen. 1 Kings chapter 11. Everyone's going to get something today. You're going to walk out of here understanding a little bit more about yourself and the church, the body of Christ. Let's read. Verse 26. When you have it, say amen. Amen. Here we go. Another rebel leader was Jeroboam, son of Nebat, one of Solomon's own officials. He came from the town of Zarephath in Ephraim, and his mother was Zeruiah, a widow. This is a story behind his rebellion. Solomon was rebuilding the supporting terraces and repairing the walls of the city of his father David. Jeroboam was a very capable young man, and when Solomon saw how industrious he was, he put him in charge of the labor force from the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, the descendants of Joseph. So it is quite possible that you can assign somebody based on external attributes without knowing their internal character. Do not get caught up with attributes if you can't find out what's going on in here. Jeroboam was a servant who was selected because of his skills. And that same servant that Solomon put ends up being the one to divide the kingdom for hundreds of years. Oh, God. Let's read. Now, another thing that I want you to notice is the fact that it said something that was interesting. It said Solomon was rebuilding what? That belonged to what? David, his father's kingdom. It wasn't even his. The lineage was established with that statement. That even though David was dead, Solomon was still building his father's kingdom.
That's good. That's good.
What you do from this point forward, if you are part of this flow, and if you're part of the kingdom of God, first and foremost, that means that you are the face of the kingdom.
That's right.
That even when you're building, and you're building what's around you, make sure that you understand that your terraces are being built. And the terraces are not yours, they're your Father's.
Lord, thank you, Lord.
Praise God. It's going to be a little bit for everybody today. Let's continue reading. One day as Jeroboam was leaving Jerusalem, the prophet Ahijah from Shiloh met him along the way. Ahijah was wearing a new cloak. Why was he wearing a new cloak? The two of them were alone in the field. I'm going to teach you all, as you read the word, don't ever take anything for granted. Everything that's being said there is for a reason. Ahijah was wearing a new covering, a new cloak. The two of them were alone in the field, and Ahijah took hold of the new cloak he was wearing and tore it into 12 pieces. Then he said to Jeroboam, take 10 of these pieces, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I'm about to tear the kingdom from the hand of Solomon, and I will give 10 of the tribes to you, but I will leave him one tribe for the sake of my servant David. Was it just one tribe? 10 plus 1 is what? Anybody see this? 12, he broke it up into 12 pieces, meaning the 12 tribes. Tells the servant Jeroboam, I'm going to give you 10 of the 12. And I'm just going to give one to Rehoboam. So isn't that one missing?
Right.
Praise God. Take 10 of these pieces, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I'm about to tear the kingdom from the hand of Solomon, and I will give 10 of the tribes to you. But I will leave him one tribe for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. For Solomon has abandoned me and worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Molech, the god of the Ammonites. He has not followed my ways and done what is pleasing in my sight. He has not obeyed my decrees and regulations as David his father did. But I will not take the entire kingdom from Solomon at this time for the sake of my servant David, the one whom I chose and who obeyed my commands and decrees. I will keep Solomon as leader for the rest of his life. But I will take the kingdom away from his son and give 10 of the tribes to you. His son will have one tribe, so that the descendants of David, my servant, will continue to reign. Isn't that repetitious? He just said it like a couple of sentences before. I'm going to give him one, and you're going to have 10. But there's still one missing. Let me tell you how to interpret this. The tribes were all given a certain task. What tribe was given to Solomon's son, Rehoboam? The tribe of what? What tribe? Who said that? Who said that? Can you say it loud, please? The tribe of Judah. Don't be afraid in this class to talk. It's okay. The tribe of Judah was a tribe that was given so that the flow can continue.
Amen. Amen.
But then there's another tribe. Tell me about the other tribe. The tribe called the church. It's going to get interesting in a minute. For those of you who are really good scholars, you'll love this one. So, the other tribe, which is the tribe called the church, to understand why I'm saying the tribe is the church, you must understand what took place during the time of the church. Prophetically, Ahijah was giving a prophecy. He was being told something by God about the 10, and the 10 being the ones that were going to be removed, but the one, Judah, represented the Jewish people. Judah. The Jews through Judah. But then what about the Jews to this other miscellaneous tribe. Paul came from this tribe. Saul, the first king of Israel, came from this tribe. This is the tribe that had to make a choice, just like the church. The tribe called Benjamin. The tribe of Benjamin was not included in that because the tribe of Benjamin represents the west side of the wall. Oh my God. The tribe of Benjamin represents the church who makes a decision to follow Christ and get the privileges of Judah. Oh my God. Y'all gonna get this today. I'm gonna make sure of it. Let's make this a visual. Yes, Lord, I heard you. Can I have 12 people? Human beings. 12. You can try to get here fast. 12. 12. Somebody help me count the 12.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
12, please.
2 more. One more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Give me one more. Good. It makes all the sense in the world. All right. Every one of these tribes. Now, isn't this intimidating, by the way, guys? Seriously, you see this group here walking towards you. If you see this group walking towards you, isn't this intimidating? Just coming into a town, 12 and 1, 13 heads, just walking in talking about, we're about to change this. I still didn't get it. 12 disciples, just like the 12 tribes. The 12 tribes had a meaning. It was God's established government. That's what the number 12 means. When this took place, that's why when Jeroboam was approached by the prophet, Jeroboam had no idea what was happening was the defragmentation of government. The government was not going to be functional because the 12 were no longer together. So what happens here? Follow me. Stand alone over here. You didn't think they were going to have you do this today, huh? Praise God when it happens. And I want, you know who else? Let's see. Stand over there. So Jeroboam, who was a servant of Solomon, was given all of these tribes. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, not Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, every single one of them were now given to somebody else. Judah was separated by the word. God said, I will give you one. So now, Rehoboam, descendant of Solomon, descendant of David, now has one tribe. Then who's he? He happens to be the youngest of the crew. The one to come in at the end. He happens to be the one that no one really knows about, and even there wasn't even considered. He was considered when they counted 12. But then after that, he wasn't considered anymore. Because Benjamin had to make a choice to either be with the 10 law, or to be with Judah grace. Can you walk over there for me, please? That journey of being with Judah was started by two friends prophetically. was established by way of relationship. And God used the relationship that was established by way of David and Jonathan to make sure that Jonathan, the Benjamite, would make connections with Judah, even at the point of separation.
That's good. That's good, Pops.
This crowd here represents the general populace that we tend to follow.
Good. Good.
Even outside of assignment, we consider, because everyone agrees to it, that it must be right. Benjamin said, hold on a second. I remember when. Even though God didn't tell him to go, he went. The same thing with us. We chose and we choose. Our connection and relationship with God is about relationship. If you can remember the relationship, then you won't part. Ooh.
So good. Good. That's good.
If you can remember relationship, yeah, write that one down. If you can remember the relationship, you will never part. If fear is the reason why you're here, I'll see you later. If you're coming to church based on fear, then you might as well join the tent.
Wow, that's good.
Because the tent's premise, their whole functionality is based on fear. That's why there were no good kings in the northern kingdom. Not one. These were the 10 tribes that were of the northern kingdom. And it looks like they overpower them, right? But what do they have? Oh my God. There is kingship. Can I show you want this one too? I'm going to show you. Can I show you one more thing? Watch this. You ready? Can y'all get closer? Just like shift over. I really want you to be alienated. Yeah, y'all chose wrong. Listen to this. What else is here? Oh, what else is there that's not here? Who said what? Grab a microphone before you say something. Give them a mic. I want people to hear. If you got the answer to this one, then you've entered into the realm of the prophetic with Ahijah. For Ahijah understood this. Hence the reason why Benjamin was not included in the group. Listen carefully. What do they have that they don't have? Someone daring enough. Amen. Say again? Space. You look good with the microphone. Oh, I say that prophetically. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. What? Go ahead. They have what? He says fellowship. They have fellowship. That's based on the prophetic between Jonathan and David. So Judah is Davidic, right? And Benjamin is Jonathanic. I just made that word up. Watch this. Both these individuals have something else in common. The microphone's not working. All right, there we go. What do they have in common?
Loyalty.
Say again?
Kingship and priesthood.
The first one. Kingship. He was given a pass because his father was a king. In the Benjamites, kingship was found. Just like with the tribe of Judah. Kingship was found in both tribes. That's why Jesus says, I am the King of including queens. Okay, if you raise your hand, that's when you don't get recorded. I'm going to come in afterwards. I'm a king. You ain't raise your hand. If you're not a king, then how many lords are here? Lords.
I'm a Lord too. Why not? I'm home.
Lordship and kingship has been granted those who are ambassadors of a king. You can't say, oh, Lord, look at me, the poor old servant. There has to be authority in you. When your selection, think about it. This is the only royalty that is obtained by you selecting. When you choose, you say, I'm a king, because you chose him. So that he can say, I'm the king of kings.
Oh, that's good.
When you choose, you say, I'm Lord, because you're Lord. See, I may not be Lord up there, but I'm Lord here because you made me Lord. So you're Lord of lords.
Wow.
Jesus said, I am the King of kings and Lord of lords. That means that he's acknowledging that there is lords and kings. Oh, we don't want to hear that one. No, stay poor, stay broke, stay broken, stay crippled, stay there. No, that's not his intention. In the Garden of Eden, what do you think Adam was? Adam was a king, and he was told to steward the land that he was in. He was given authority by the authority. But we preach a message of pauper because we think that Jesus was broke. And he, being the King of kings, everything worked for him. Remember, he gave his life up. It wasn't taken from him.
Right. Right.
Because you can't take the life of a king.
That's good.
The king has to give his own life up.
Good.
Who understood that?
So good.
You can't take the life of a king. Who's understanding me? You can't take the life of a king. The king has to give his life. If he's a true king, Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in my kingship will not die. Or if they're dead, they'll come back to life again. That's profound. His kingship goes beyond the grave. That's when you know you're a king. When your jurisdiction goes beyond the earth. Your jurisdiction now goes into the grave. Now everybody that's dead has to acknowledge you as king. Oh, man. Give me something. Say something. Glory. Praise God. Jesus has power beyond life. Even that which is still has to acknowledge him.
Yes.
All right. Going back to this. Ahijah broke the shirt into 12 pieces. He broke the new cloth, 12 pieces, and said, this belongs to you. And this is what I'm going to leave him with here. And here Benjamin is not mentioned. Benjamin makes a choice. Benjamin ends up being a part of the tribe of Judah. Whenever you hear about Judah, you hear Benjamin. Whenever you hear about Jesus in the New Testament, Paul pops up. I try to look at all the scholars real fast. See the scholars can pick up on this real fast. Okay, let me say it again. It was, but I don't think the ball was caught. Let me just do this again. Jesus came from what tribe?
Judah.
So the New Testament, not the Ten Commandments, the New Testament. Wait, you ready for this? Not the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are good, but they are put together by 2 commandments. Love God with all your mind, heart, soul, everything. Because if you can do this, you can do that. But equally as important, love your neighbor as yourself. Bring back David and Jonathan. Bring back the Benjamites and the Judah. There's the connection. Take this home with you. Ahijah had no idea he was thinking about the New Testament. He had no idea that when he separated the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, that's the northern kingdom, each one of them had over 100,000 people. It's the southern kingdom. Originally it was just Judah, but Benjamin said, I am your brother. I roll with you. Where you go, I go. The Benjamites went with Judah because they were prophetically speaking of what Jesus was going to talk about in the future. All of it had to do with Jesus. 10 and 2. Please be seated. Thank you.
Good. Good.
Praise God. Somebody has a question. Amen.
I've been itching. I was like, because you went so deep into it. See, a lot of people don't, when they speak about Jonathan and David, they try to put them in a bad way. Is that why God knitted their hearts together? Was he trying to show something beyond what everyone likes to see?
Yes. For the son of iniquity met with the son of indecisiveness. Listen carefully. The 2 fathers of those 2 sons, Jonathan and David, one being Jesse, one being Saul. Jesse had sons, had a total of 8 sons. David being the youngest. Saul had Jonathan. These 2 sons connect. Their connection had nothing to do with iniquity. Their connection had something to do with the prophetic. Their union had everything to do with relationship. Some of us we still need to work on that. We don't trust not even the fly that comes next to us. Trust nobody. Because you've been around a world of lack of trust, so you think the rest of the world is the same way. So when somebody knocks on your door with cupcakes talking about welcome to the neighborhood, you're all shocked. Seriously. You gonna give me what? People knocking on your door talking about we want to get to know who you are. Or they tell you, listen, I'm gonna leave my door open so you can come on in. You're saying there's a trap because your world is. You can't keep thinking that your world is everywhere. Stop it. You go to another country, you find out that's not the case. We've been tainted. And the enemy has us thinking that everywhere in the world they're the same. So every time somebody says something to you that's on the left side, for those who are lefties on the right side, you think automatically that something's up. Because your whole life is about deception. You're always doing the underhanded thing. It's underhanded. There's something's going on there.
That's good.
That's because you've been altered. You ain't right. And you need to be fixed. And if this bothers you what I'm saying, that's part of you not being right. The mechanics of your mind is, you got to be talking about me. You know how many people in this room right now can be saying that right this moment? That I know, in this room right now. Can be saying that right now. He's got to be talking about, I just don't want to look at anybody. Because there's this thing of, he's got to be talking about me. I'm not talking about you, God is. And he wants you to get right. so that you can choose the 2 instead of the 10. So you can take heed to what Ahijah was saying. And so that you don't lose track like Solomon. It was his fault. Solomon did not prepare his son Rehoboam for leadership. He didn't prepare him for kingship, for royalty. He didn't prepare him right. That's the reason why in his mind, the only way to deal with people is by being hard on them. Bad Solomon. You understood what I just said? Solomon could not comprehend, with all the worlds he was entertaining, how to be a good father. Rehoboam was raised up by his friends. Don't let me get into the story. I'll read it. Rehoboam was raised by his boys. He hung out with his boys more than his own family. And when the time came when his father was no longer around and he needed advice, positive advice to run the kingdom, he goes to them and says, what should I do, fellas? And they go, man, no, for real? Your dad was soft. Your dad was soft. You know what you need to tell them? You know how you need? That's the messed up part. Tell them if they don't get it right, that you put even extra taxes on them and you put the load on them. You know what he did? Instead of taking the advice of his father's advisors, he said, now my boys, Chico, Cheno, Jesus, Tito. We know how to run this game. You can't tell us, you guys are outdated. I'm talking to somebody. You guys don't know what y'all talking about. We're the new generation. New generation, all right. The new generation caused 10 and 2. That's what the new generation did. The new generation breeded a series of kings that were all wicked and evil. I repeat, not one king from the northern kingdom was good. But out of the northern kingdom came the most powerful prophets. That's all we got in Ahijah. There really isn't much about Ahijah. But that was enough, right? That was enough about Ahijah. One simple prophet. All he did was break up things into 12 pieces. That was all he did. His whole story is about a clean cloth, brand new, broken up, cut up into 12 pieces. But that one story leads to the salvation of the world and the universe.
That's good, Pop.
One story that changes everything. Please stand.
Lord.
Needless to say that because Ahijah was just a small story, the story of Elijah is going to be a little bit more intense. And I intend to really take my time with Elijah as I would like to take my time with Elisha. For the greatness of Elijah is not based on how great he was, but how much he passed on. Double the anointing. Double the anointing. My prayer for everyone here today. This is my from the heart prayer. That everyone here would get to a place of higher understanding in the Word. Where going out to evangelize becomes second nature. where everything you do will be connected as a lifestyle and not something forced. Because if it's a lifestyle, then you don't got to try to be good. If it's a lifestyle, then being good is a part of your life. It's like breathing. Like right now, if I tell you, try to breathe. Can you try to breathe? Try to breathe. You don't have to try to breathe, you breathe. You know what you do have to try to do though? To stop breathing, to hold your breath. Try to hold your breath, you can do that.
That's good, Pop.
Oh, it's because he said so. You can't stop the living aspect of you, but you can try to stop the aspect that caused you to die.
My God.
Why? Because every part of you knows how to live. We are good by nature. We are bad by our sinful nature. Listen to what I just said. We are good by nature. Our bodies do the right thing. You don't got to tell it. You don't have to tell your heart, keep pumping. You got my glasses? Thank you. You don't tell your lungs, come on, take in the oxygen. You don't have to do that. You don't have to tell your body, come on, you got to do it. We got to go to the bathroom. No, your body knows what to do. But what you can do is stop the flow. You have the ability to break the connection. Wow.
Thank you, Lord.
You don't understand how powerful that truth is. That means that when things go bad or you get into a bad place, that's your choice in it. You choose to hold your breath. You don't, wow! Your choice of living is still available even when you're not choosing.
Thank you, Lord.
I'm breathing right now. All throughout the time I've been talking, I've been breathing. And I didn't think not once about breathing. Till right now. But when it comes to stopping the breathing, I have to. And eventually it becomes uncomfortable. And if you're really challenged, you do the one on the water. So the other day we had a little challenge in the pool. My dearest daughter of mine over here, the little one, and she beat me the first time because I really they think I lied about it. I'm not lying about this. I really thought she got up already, so I went up. I went back down again, and I was determined to damage my ability to breathe. I went down and I stayed down till I heard the commotion of her coming up. Because she challenged me. Oh, somebody get this. Every day the enemy's challenging you. And it's up to you to go, you know what? I don't need to take your route. I got up. A couple of claps here and there. Nothing major. Just to hold my breath. What more than to live a life according to God's will? Stop holding your breath and breathe the life of God. Stop thinking everybody's against you. Those of you listening, hey, those of you who believe that the world is against you, stop it. Find somebody else who feels that way and make them feel different. You didn't catch that. Because there's somebody else who may feel the way you feel but don't have what you have. So they're laying there wanting the breath of life that you have to offer. But you're grossed out to even give them mouth to mouth so they can breathe again. You're so worried about whether or not you can breathe. And you have all the air around you. And you say, what about me? What about me? You, God says, if you're going to be a vessel of life for everyone around, then I'm going to make sure you live. If you're going to be the solution for other people, then I'm going to make sure you have the breath of life in you. So that you start breathing what was intended for somebody else. Glory. Let us be intentional in good things, not in bad. Let us make being good a way of life, a lifestyle. Yes, Lord, amen. Some people are saying, and this got to go to everybody, even on Facebook, they got to hear this. Facebook still on? Listen, there are many people getting too comfortable with saying, God told me. God is telling those individuals, your tank is starting to run low. Because the air that you're giving is no longer being able to give life. Stop saying to people, God just told me this, and he didn't tell you anything, and that was just a story you read a little while ago. God leaves signs to when he speaks. And it's always congruent with the word. But they didn't have planes back then. It's still congruent with the word. Change of pages. New chapter. New chapter. New chapter. New chapter. New chapter. New chapter. So, pastors and elders, I want you to be ready. We're going to minister tonight. And our ministry tonight is going to be in the area of understanding. Understand your environment, your atmosphere, your neighborhood. Know who you labor with. Find out the levels of the prophetic. Find out the categories of the prophetic. Understand, by way of the many prophets in the Bible, the different categories of the prophetic. The prayer tonight is that we become good students of algorithms. Good students of prophetic patterns. So tonight, simple invitation, not to the altar, because then you'd have to be facing your heart. But an invitation to the front of this edifice, where you'll run into the altar in your heart where God is. Did you hear why I said that? How I said that? What I said and how I said it. If that's you, take your walk to the front so you can meet with the one who's in the altar of your heart. Praise God. Knowledge. Increased knowledge. Knowledge with wisdom. Wisdom and faith. And then the power. Don't make the power first. Don't make the power first. The miracles don't save you. Your choice to follow, your choice to choose Jesus does. I believe in miracle signs and wonders. No one can take that away from me. I've seen too much. I've seen the craziest miracles. But I also know there's a lot more for me to see. But I never let, I'm at a point in my life, I don't let the miracles determine my walk. My standard is not predicated on miracles. Don't turn off Facebook until I tell you to. My standard is not predicated on miracle signs and wonders. That's why now, whether we record people going down and people getting healed, I'm to a place, God took me to a place where it's no longer the introduction of the power. The power, listen, God's going to give the power.
Amen.
But where He wants us to be is in relationship. Enoch figured that one out. And Enoch did not participate in the long line of those who died. And Enoch figured it out. Just stay close to the one who doesn't die and you won't die. Rub shoulders with the one who lives forever and you will too. This is not to say that miracle signs and wonders do not take place and will not take place. They will and they do. I'm telling you, do not make that the premise. Don't make that your catalyst. Praise God. We love you, Jesus. Those who are ministering tonight, I want you to lay hands on their heads. Fearlessly. And tell God, before you place your hand on their head, tell the Lord, Lord, I'm giving my whole arm to you. Just take me. Just everything. So that what that person receives will not just be based on you choosing them, but God choosing them. Those of you at home, I'm going to ask you to do something really, really weird. Probably the only time I ever ask you to do this ever again. Who knows? Maybe God will tell you to do it again. If you're with someone, if there's somebody next to you, especially if they're a child, have the child lay their hand on your head. You know what I mean by a child. If there's no one there, or if you feel no one, in quotes, worthy enough, then take your own hand and tell the Lord, Lord, I'm following instructions. Just because of the following of instructions, that is sufficient. God will honor that. And you want to tell the Lord, the veil has been ripped in two. My thought process has been opened up to the Holy of Holies. That's what's going on right now. The veil is being ripped in two. And our minds are going to be able to have the capacity to receive the profoundness of the word. What many would call hermeneutics and eschatology and all of these wonderful ologies. The one thing that you know is that the veil was ripped, not from the bottom to the top, so that no man can say they were part of it, but from the top to the bottom. All God. And if that is you, today you're saying, Lord, I want to understand. I want to know. I want to comprehend. He's going to honor you. Those who walk to the front, he's going to honor you just on that walk. The front has no extra power from where you're seated. That's not, the power is not in the fact that the seating where you were, it has less power. No, it's just that your walk has power. Did you hear what I said? Your walk from where you were has power. It's not the place. There is no such thing as an altar in an edifice having more holiness than anywhere else in the church. That's a lie. But your action, your verb, is where the power is. In the beginning was the verb. In the beginning was the action. And the action was with God. And the action was God. Action. Get up. Pick up your mat and walk. Action. Lazarus, come forth. Action. The power is in the walk. Ministers. I have that open my eyes. Those at home, lay your hands on self, or have a child lay their hands on you. Right on your head. To the world that's foolish, in the kingdom, there's power in that. And the declaration that goes alongside that action is that the word will open up to you like never before. You will understand things. Things will start to reveal themselves to you. Even nature will speak to you. Trees, animals, birds. Gently place your hands on their head. Gently. So those at home, we bless you. We thank you for such a time as this. We bless you. We give you glory. We give you honor, Heavenly Father, for everything you have done for each and every one of us. Those who are present and those who are far away. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for a relationship. Amen.